Quick introduction to the note-taking service that's being done by Andrew Garrett and Simon Astor using Evernote. We're going to walk you through some of the basic features of the program as well as outline exactly what's going to be included in our service and the different platforms that you can use Evernote. First of all, Evernote's the system that we use. It's a software that's available for download for free. It's available on the Mac that you see here. It's available on the web using the Evernote online service. It's also available for PC as well as for iOS, for iPad or iPhone. All of those devices are able to sync with the service and they will be view-only files for people that subscribe. And we're going to go through how you can filter through those files, how you can access information in different ways. All these programs actually function the same way. There's no real difference between the Windows, the online version, or the Mac version, but we're going to use the Mac for demonstrating for today. Subscribing to the service basically means that you're going to be subscribing to one of the semesters. As seen here, we're going to organize each semester as its own notebook, and you'll subscribe to each notebook individually. Once you subscribe to a notebook, that notebook will always be available to you for as long as you need it. If you would like to subscribe to a notebook from a previous semester that you haven't yet subscribed to, then that will be made available at a significantly reduced fee if you want to just keep the notes complete. We are organizing our notes not only by notebook but by a system of tags or keywords. Everything that's placed into Evernote is a completely searchable index. You can search the content of any file that we have as well as filtering through by using these tags, which we're going to demonstrate in just a little bit. As part of the service, we're going to be including any handouts that are given out. We're going to scan all documents, all additional material. Everything will be scanned and placed into Evernote and organized by class. Any study materials, any study guides will be scanned and placed in the folder as well. So this will really be a one-stop shop where you can access all the information you need on each class. Everything will be completely searchable, not only text but also any graphics, any images you'd be able to search for key terms. If you want to do some review later on and you want to pull up something specific, you'll be able to do that. We're going to answer all the study guides, so you'll have all of the study questions made available to you. We are also going to employ the use of some proofreaders so that in addition to just taking notes, we're going to make sure that some people review the notes and that those are as error-free as we can make them before we actually publish them on the service. We're going to have a private Facebook page for the service so that we can make it easy for communication, both for us to let people know about any changes to the service as well as for anyone to provide feedback if they see that there's an error or something missing or they want to make a request to improve the service. Then we'll be able to use Facebook for that means. So let's show you real quick how we use Facebook. This is how we use Evernote. This is the main interface. It's a graphical interface. It's a little more efficient than using the web service because all of the PDFs and other files are actually viewable within the program. Nothing has to be downloaded once it's synced, which is really nice to see everything in line without having to download anything. What you can see here is actually so far the two different folders that we have available. This was the fall, was last semester, and this is where we've began already for this semester. And then down here what you see are all of the tags that we have made available, and some of them have menus that can be expanded that will show you that there are additional tags underneath that. And the reason for this is to be able to enable more efficient filtering, not necessarily just during a semester, but let's say later on in your M2 year when you're going to be reviewing for boards, that you just want to see notes for everything that's included for anatomy, and you want to see that for actually all the semesters that we have anatomy. Then you can just select on the main heading for all of the notebooks that you have and filter through by anatomy, and this would show you then all of the notes that have been made available for anatomy, not just the subheadings, which would be gross anatomy or neuroanatomy or by separate professor. But let's say you want to get more specific and you want to just see the notes that are for gross anatomy. You can select gross anatomy. And then beyond that, you want to see only the notes that were made available from Dr. Conover. Then you can select both of those tags. And now we can see only the notes that are going to be under those categories. If we want to filter, let's say for biochemistry, we can do the same thing. We can select biochemistry. If we want to see only study questions, we can filter for just biochemistry study questions. We've made it possible to filter through exams. If you want to see information for a specific exam, then you can do that the same way as before. You can select the exam you want, and you could select the subject, or you could select the subject plus the professor. In this case, we didn't have anything for exam 1. Let's go to exam 2, and you'll see these are the slides that we have for gross close that were only going to be on exam 2. If we want to, we could add exam 3, and you can see the material that we had for Dr. Grosclose for biochemistry just for exam 3. And you can see that these are all of the handouts, all of the presentations, all of the study guides, as well as our notes. When we look over here at the way that we take notes, the notes that we take for lectures, because we do take a supplemental note during the lecture, it's an outline-based note. It is not a transcript of the class. The idea of this is to create a system that works really well to enable more efficient studying. So we didn't want to create a transcript that you have to sit and read through, or an audio file that you have to go over and listen and take your own notes. We create a note that's a complete outline of the lecture. The idea of this is to supplement the lecture material. It's not to completely copy what's already in the notes, but to add anything that the professor says that wasn't included directly in the note packet, and also to expand on anything within the notes that were otherwise confusing or wasn't clearly explained. And in some situations you might see, for instance, that we create an appendix or an additional file that goes along with the note. For instance, this semester we've already started. This was the introduction to neuroanatomy that we listened to actually just today. This is the outline of the note, but to go along with this note there is a series of images that help to supplement the note packet, and so you see this here as a separate file. Sometimes it makes more sense to actually add the appendix. If it's a little bit more brief, we'll add that directly into the file, so it's one file. For instance, here's the beginning of immunology, and you can see the same thing. We have the outline of the notes. But in this case you'll see that additional images are actually placed within the note to make it a little bit more efficient. But if the supplement becomes too extensive, then we just do it as a separate file, because it would just take too much time to integrate both notes together, because the way the service works, one person's taking notes and one person's doing the supplement. It's done separately. So in this case you see how it's integrated together and it looks great. If there are times where annotations to images make sense because the instructor has elaborated on something more specifically, then like you see here in this example, we've actually taken the graphic from the book and we've elaborated on it to make it a little bit more self-explanatory and to highlight a little bit more of what the actual professor was saying rather than only having an image. So as you can see, this is a really complete service. We include, as you can see here, the note packets. This was for neuroanatomy. It's already been scanned. It is a completely searchable file, which is nice. All the text is completely searchable. We include the class schedules, everything that you could think of that would be associated with what you need to study and make studying efficient is going to be provided. Everything will be in here, and hopefully this will be a great service. So take a look, let us know what you think, and we look forward to your feedback. Thanks so much.